Sulbutiamine has been shown to boost motivation, to improve focus, enhance memory, and to alleviate depression. It's a synthetic derivative of vitamin B1, or thiamine. Thiamine was the first B vitamin to be discovered by researchers. That's why it's called B1. Sulbutiamine is simply two vitamin B1 molecules joined together. This chemical bond helps the thiamine to more easily cross the blood-brain barrier. Japanese scientists first synthesized the sulbutiamine in an attempt to quell a health crisis within the Japanese population. After World War II, the Japanese diet largely consisted of rice. This left them deficient in several key nutrients, including thiamine. Insufficient thiamine led to a central nervous system disorder called beriberi, but supplementing with thiamine alone didn't help because of its poor bioavailability, and a lot of thiamine was needed to cure the beriberi symptoms. Sulbutiamine is far more bioavailable than standard thiamine. It's fat soluble. Normal thiamine is water soluble, so this helps it to more easily cross the blood-brain barrier. The discovery of sulbutiamine cured the Japanese population of the life-threatening disease, and it's since been tested and used throughout the world with much success. Thiamine is a coenzyme used by the body to metabolize food for energy and to maintain proper heart, nerve, and brain function. It also helps to digest and to extract energy from food. It turns nutrients into adenosine triphosphate, or ATP, which is the fuel created by your cell's mitochondria. Thiamine helps to convert carbohydrates into glucose, the energy that your body uses for your brain and your nervous system. One more thing about the miracle B vitamin. Thiamine contributes to the development of myelin sheath, which wraps around the axons to protect them from damage. Thiamine is critical for increasing focus, energy, and for preventing memory loss, and it can ward off inflammation. Healthy brain function is crucial for good decision making. Thiamine is essential for producing the neurotransmitter acetylcholine. This is used to relay messages between neurons in your brain, and it's critical for cognition, learning, and memory. Thiamine helps your body to withstand stress. A lack of energy can contribute to poor mood and to motivation. Thiamine can boost your mood, and it can defend against depression and anxiety. Sulbutiamine is the synthetic version of vitamin B1. Japanese researchers synthesized the sulbutiamine by bonding two B1 molecules. Your body doesn't produce thiamine on its own, so you have to get it from food, including beef, brewer's yeast, legumes, beans, lentils, milk, nuts, oats, etc. Thiamine has poor bioavailability though. By synthesizing thiamine and producing sulbutiamine, you end up with a fat-soluble compound that's easily digested, and it readily crosses the blood-brain barrier. Sulbutiamine is a synthetic version of B1. It's two B1 molecules chemically bound together. Thiamine is water-soluble, and it doesn't easily cross the blood-brain barrier, whereas sulbutiamine is a fat-soluble compound that easily crosses the blood-brain barrier. Sulbutiamine functions in the body just like thiamine, but because it's more bioavailable, it's more effective than the thiamine. Sulbutiamine is a fat-soluble molecule, and it crosses the blood-brain barrier more readily. Once in your brain, it increases the levels of thiamine pyrophosphate. Thiamine pyrophosphate is directly involved in the citric acid cycle in the brain. This cycle breaks fatty acids, amino acids, and monosaccharides into smaller molecules that produce adenosine triphosphate, or ATP, energy within the mitochondria, and it provides the building blocks of the molecules needed to produce brain cells. Brain regions that are affected by a thiamine deficiency include the cerebellum, the mammillary bodies, the thalamus, the hypothalamus, and the brainstem. A deficiency of the thiamine can eventually show up as Wernicke encephalopathy and Korsakoff syndrome. In our society, this syndrome is typically caused by chronic alcoholism, but it can also occur after obesity or bariatric surgery, Crohn's disease, anorexia, or if you're on kidney dialysis. Symptoms of Wernicke-Korsakoff syndrome include confusion, inability to form memories, loss of memories, and muscle coordination, confabulation, which is making up stories, and vision changes, and it can ultimately and very rapidly lead to coma and death. Less severe cases of thiamine deficiency include fatigue, weight loss, irritability, and confusion. Sulbutiamine also contributes to the production of the enzyme PDH, which is essential in making the neurotransmitter acetylcholine, and for the synthesis of myelin, which forms a sheet around the axons attached to the neurons, ensuring that these neurons can conduct their signals. The citric acid cycle and the enzyme alpha KGDH play a role in maintaining the optimal levels of the neurotransmitter glutamate and GABA. When thiamine levels decrease, the activity of these enzymes is also reduced. We depend on our diet for thiamine. Very little thiamine is stored in the body, and depletion can occur within 14 days. Thiamine deficiency can be caused by alcoholism, Alzheimer's disease, anemia, athletes who reduce the food intake, cancer, clogged arteries, Crohn's disease, diabetes, diarrhea, and kidney disease, and even a poor diet. Low levels of thiamine can slow the creation of ATP. Low levels of thiamine can cause problems with memory, learning, recall, and perception, and then acetylcholine levels can decline. All of these changes can happen at any age, and they're a product of the food we eat, what we drink, the lifestyle habits, and the air that we breathe. Sulbutiamine can help with age-related cognitive decline, as well as students who are looking to do better in school, by boosting the acetylcholine, dopamine, and GABA in the brain. And it can increase the brain's energy by creating ATP within the mitochondria and building a myelin sheath that protects our axons. Sulbutiamine is directly involved in the citric acid cycle that provides adenosine triphosphate energy created within the mitochondria. Sulbutiamine also plays a role in maintaining the optimal levels of the neurotransmitter glutamate and GABA, and it contributes to the production of the enzyme PDH, which is essential in making the neurotransmitter acetylcholine. Sulbutiamine will boost cognition, memory, and decision making, and it has very effective anxiolytic or antidepressant qualities. Sulbutiamine is a fat-soluble form of thiamine, and it crosses the blood-brain barrier easily. It's been shown to improve the glutamanergic, cholinergic, and dopaminergic neurological transmission. It may also increase the density of the D1 dopamine receptor. On its own, sulbutiamine seems to increase attention span for many users, and when it's combined with caffeine or any of the racetams, many users report being able to work effortlessly for hours on end. Study and work seems less stressful. Sulbutiamine boosts motivation, and many users report that it gives them drive that they need to study or to work. It helps to provide laser-like focus at work or school. Some report even with the most tedious of tasks while staying in a very good mood. Many users report being able to articulate thoughts and improve speaking ability. Language and vocabulary seem to flow effortlessly. Thoughts and ideas come with less effort. Some find sulbutiamine more effective than any prescription antidepressant that they've ever tried, without any side effects. You should be able to experience the effects of sulbutiamine soon after you take it. A study at the University of Wales, Swansea in the UK worked with 120 young adult females. The study participants took either a placebo or 50 milligrams of thiamine for 2 months. Mood, memory, and reaction time was monitored before and after taking the tablets. The research indicates that after 2 months of thiamine supplementation, the young females were more clear-headed, felt more composed and energetic. The reaction time had improved, and they had improved mood. If you deal with chronic fatigue, sulbutiamine may be a better option than a cup of coffee or a stimulant. Researchers at the hospital Saint Antoine in Paris studied 326 patients, all suffering from chronic fatigue. Patients were given 400 or 600 milligrams of sulbutiamine per day, or a placebo in this double-blind, parallel group study. The patients were tested on the 7th and the 28th day of the trial. Those that used 600 milligrams of sulbutiamine had less fatigue. Poor memory is associated with low levels of choline activity in the brain. Choline is a precursor to the neurotransmitter acetylcholine. Acetylcholine transmission between the neurons helps in memory formation. Scientists decided to find out if the sulbutiamine could help to boost the choline uptake. They gave a group of mice sulbutiamine for 10 days, and then they tested their memory. The findings suggest that the sulbutiamine improved memory formation, and it was due to an increase in choline activity in the brain. Another study in France involved giving sulbutiamine or saline solution to rats for 9 weeks. The results of the study concluded that sulbutiamine provided better working and episodic memory. Many people use sulbutiamine for a boost in physical energy, and it's created some controversy in professional sports. The Moscow Anti-Doping Center analyzed 16,000 blood samples in a Russian lab in 2009. They were looking for anabolic steroids in athletes. They found that 100 samples contained sulbutiamine. These samples were collected in competition, indicating that sulbutiamine was intentionally administered for its ergogenic and mild stimulating properties. One small study was conducted with 20 patients who were suffering from psychogenic erectile dysfunction. This type of erectile dysfunction is defined as the inability to achieve or to maintain an erection because of psychological factors. The men were given a prescription form of the sulbutiamine for 30 days. 16 of the men showed significant improvements based on the International Index of Erection Function. 3 of the 6 men with arterial disorders in their penis showed that the sulbutiamine also corrected the problem. The study concluded that erectile dysfunction can be effectively treated with sulbutiamine. A recommended sulbutiamine dose is 400 to 1000 milligrams per day. Higher doses should be split, with one in the morning and the other in the early afternoon. Some users warn that dosing the sulbutiamine too late in the day is a mild stimulant and it could interfere with sleep. If you're just starting with sulbutiamine, it's suggested to start at a lower dose to see how your body reacts first. Tolerance can become a problem with sulbutiamine, so when taking it for extended periods, you may find it's beneficial to cycle on and off the supplement. For example, take sulbutiamine for 5 days and then take 2 days off before starting again. Sulbutiamine is non-toxic, so it's considered well tolerated and safe. Side effects are rare, but they can include skin rash and eczema-like outbursts at higher doses. It can also create mood swings, particularly if you're bipolar or you're taking bipolar medication. If you take sulbutiamine late in the day, you may find that it interferes with sleep. Some find it has mild stimulatory effects. There's some reports that sulbutiamine can be addictive. If you have addiction-like tendencies, you might want to be cautious about using the supplement. It does affect dopamine levels in the brain. Sulbutiamine is especially helpful for those who are suffering from depression. Experience shows that it helps to stop and reverse the symptoms associated with depression, likely because this nootropic helps to boost the activity of dopamine, serotonin, GABA, and glutamate in the brain. Some consider sulbutiamine to be more effective and safer than any prescription antidepressant that they've ever tried. Sulbutiamine is also particularly helpful to students and to executives who want to boost cognition, learning, and memory. Sulbutiamine can produce a noticeable increase in mental clarity and give you a significant energy boost, both physically and mentally. You'll feel more awake and alert without the side effects that you get from stimulants like caffeine. Sulbutiamine also stacks very well with racetams like piracetam and aniracetam. For more information about herbs, supplements, and natural treatment plans, check out my website.